afternoon, friends. Pastor Tim here, Coach Tim with our Thriving Thursday. Hey, today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about something that is really crucial. It comes up all the time when I'm dealing with clients, and it's come up often in my life. I've had victory and I've had failure in this area. But it's the area of forgiveness and understanding how to forgive. Most of my clients, many of the people I've worked with, probably every human being has dealt with disappointment, failure, betrayal, flat-out abuse, even at some point in our life. And then we have a decision to make. What do we do with that? How do we move forward? How do we get our lives back? How do we get past that and move on? And so this whole idea of forgiveness, you'll find it in 12-step work. You'll find it in any therapy. You'll ask anybody if it's important, and they'll say, yes, it is. So we have to process and find a way through the pain and the hurt and the betrayal and let go and move forward. And it's not that easy. I'd love to just say, hey, everybody just forgive. I spent years working on certain people that I needed to forgive and understanding and learning how to do that. And it was a process for some it was instantaneous, but it's something that I demanded of myself because I wanted to be free. They say unforgiveness is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. It simply doesn't work. And we're the ones who suffer when we carry that root of bitterness and unforgiveness. So I want to encourage you today to do that. For me, it started in a very powerful and personal place when I first understood my need for forgiveness. I went to a holy God with all of my brokenness and all of the yuck and mess of my life that had come from other people's hurts and pains and had led me to a path of I began to now be the person who was hurting others, and I needed forgiveness. So I came to a God very desperate to know that he could forgive me, and received that forgiveness, the free gift of God to be forgiven, and really understood that there was no conditions. I didn't have to jump through hoops. I didn't have to lay on the ground and grovel and beg for it. The moment I asked, it was granted, and I was given that freedom of my heart to be me and to be whole again and to be forgiven. And then from there, I began to look at others in a new light. I began to see the need to forgive other people in my life and knew that it was almost commanded of me. It was necessary for me. How dare I be freely forgiven and then say to you or anybody else, but I'm not going to forgive you. I'll never forgive you. Certainly there's things I'm never going to forget, things that I lived through that were horrific, that I probably will remember to the day I die, but there's a freedom in it. There's a healing. There's no longer a bitterness or a root of unforgiveness. And so I want that for you. After I received that forgiveness, I began to look into others, and I said, boy, I need to forgive those around me. I need to let go of those who have abused and harmed me, and I need to be offer forgiveness for them as I was given. I also very much so needed to forgive myself. God had forgiven me. I began to forgive others. I had a hard time forgiving myself for all the rotten things I had done. How dare I, after I had been hurt and so angry at others, turn around and do some of those same things to other people? So I had to begin a process of learning how to forgive myself. Again, it came through God's power and God's plan. He led me to that path of forgiveness and healing in my life. And then lastly, for many of us, there's another person that needs to be forgiven, and that is the person of God. Sometimes we ask ourselves, where were you, God? Why? When I was a little boy and I was defenseless, did certain things happen in my life that were out of my control and out of my power, and you were there and watched. And I had to understand God's role in that, and God's what God did and didn't cause, and what God allowed and didn't allow, and how things work. And I had to get very, very serious to understand and let go of what I blamed God for many years of my life. So I personally needed to forgive God, if that makes any sense to you. But for me to be well, and me to be whole, me to be healed, and me to be right, and me to live a life, an abundant life, a thriving life, it was absolutely impossible until I chose forgiveness. I absolutely demanded forgiveness over every person that I had just listed, those who had hurt me, God, myself, and to receive his forgiveness, I was not whole, and I couldn't live the life I'm living now. So I hurt for you that are still walking in unforgiveness. It grieves me to know that people can't get there. There is a path there. There is a way there. Often you need somebody who can comprehend the level of betrayal and pain and abuse you've suffered in order to navigate that with you. Some people could tell me to forgive, and how dare they? They haven't lived what I've lived. So I get that. If you need a helping hand, if you need somebody to just give you a nudge, some encouragement, some guidance in that, please give us a call. We would love to be a part of that. You can contact us at our website, set an appointment, thrivecoaching.net, and let's get after forgiveness. You can be forgiven. You can forgive others. You can be set free, and you can be made whole again, no matter what's been done to you or what you've done to others. There's a path for you. Love you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend with your family and with your journey in faith.